Alright, here, I got you. Hold up. Welcome to the second season of Your Favorite Character Sucks, a show where we each argue for our favorite characters in whatever show, movie, book series, or video game we're covering. Is that roughly what we're doing here?
Oh, we all have to put on that voice?
It's hilarious.
Welcome to the second season of Your Favorite Character Sucks, a show where each of us argue for our favorite character in whatever show, movie, book series, or video game we're covering. All right, Matt, your turn.
Now, legitimately though, why are we doing this? Because we already do have an intro for season 1.
Yeah, well, just do it. Just read it.
I'm gonna go for a little different approach here. Who has the best aesthetic and story? Who makes the most sense? And who do we want to hang out with the most?
At the end of each episode, we crown one character the best character, who will then go on to compete in our best of the best finale. On today's episode, Inuyasha. Half human, half demon, 100% daddy issues.
To test our levels, can I get a couple Tetsaiga?
Tetsaiga.
Tetsaiga.
There's got to be a better one than Tetsaiga. Let me see.
Tenseiga.
There you go.
Tokijin.
Can I get a
Hakudoshi.
Kikyo? Kagome. So, is everybody's levels good? Can we talk about Inuyasha now?
Yeah, well, first we need to introduce our guest, because it's season 2 and we've got our shit down.
Wait, are we started already?
God, it's...
Also, do we have our shit down?
We absolutely do not have our shit down.
That's debatable.
Yeah, we got it down. I just re-recorded an entire podcast with our friend David Doss.
Mr. Doss.
Anyway, but we are joined by middle school and high school friend?
Oh yeah. Well, did we go to Timberwood together?
No.
I didn't go to Timberwood.
Then high school.
Definitely high school, though. Part of the same high school prom group.
There we go.
Lit.
Yeah.
Don't rub it in my face, bro.
Yeah, if you weren't there, I don't know what to say.
One of my greatest regrets, and how
up.
pathetic is that I couldn't hang out with my homies.
So who are you? Introduce yourself.
Yeah. My name is Angela, formerly... Wait, do I say my last name? Maybe not.
You can. So that's why I let you introduce yourself. I want you to tell us how you want to be known.
Oh,
you know.
I can just.
Angela.
I can just be Angela. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Angela Lansbury,
That's
our
me.
good friend
That's
Angela
me,
Lansbury.
Mrs. Potts, the one and only.
Angela from the
I do
office
love Angela
is here to
Lansbury.
talk with us.
Who doesn't?
Anyway,
Good question.
and a big time fan of Inuyasha. You know, tell the listeners why you're the expert.
I'm the expert because I say
How
I
many
am.
tattoos do you have?
Oh shit! I don't have any tattoos, but if I did,
Ooh, that's...
They'd all be Inuyasha.
yeah, right on the tailbone. But
What would it be? It would be like Kagome and Inuyasha holding each other on your back.
I think it'd just be a little Sango's boomerang tramp stamp.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Stamp
Harai
boomerang?
coats?
Yeah,
Harai coats?
yeah, exactly. See,
Okay.
the one and only. No, but yeah, the series was probably like the first time I ever like stayed up late at night to watch something I probably wasn't supposed to watch because I was like 12.
Is this too mature for 12-year-olds?
Well, they said damn and
Yep.
hell, so for me
shit,
it was.
no, you're
yeah.
right. No, absolutely.
And it was on a programming called Adult Swim.
Oh,
so,
shit,
I
no,
mean,
you're right.
I could swim,
I have
but I was no adult.
Very, very vivid memory of being in Matt, my brother's room, and just standing in the doorway because he was watching Inuyasha and I was watching it too. And my mom comes up and she hears him yell "damn" or "hell" or whatever it was. And
Yep.
she like stood there next to me and like listened. And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "What are y'all watching?" And I was like, "It's just a show." And she was like, "Well, if there's nothing wrong with it, then I can watch it too." I was like, "Okay, yeah, who cares?" So she's like watching it. And she goes, "So this is about a show about demons, and they're saying damn and hell."
Demons.
Yeah, and yeah, so it got banned.
Well, she's not wrong. It is a show about
And there's-
demons.
It got banned from my
And
mom's
there's
house.
sometimes boobs.
Oh,
There are
she didn't even
sometimes
know
titties,
that.
yeah,
She
absolutely.
didn't even know.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, it's in the first
Very
episode.
first episode.
Even. We see the centipede demon, and she's just titties out.
Pretty funny
you know?
moment
And
at the anime club where because after discussing an anime, we would watch sometimes we'd watch the first episode if it was school appropriate. You know, like if they talked about Attack on Titan, we obviously couldn't watch that, right? But they watched Inuyasha, and I was like, oh yeah, let's put on the first episode of Inuyasha. And like one of the anime club like leaders came over to me and like whispered in my ear. She was like, Mr. Campbell, topless centipede lady, and I go, oh yeah.
Whoever that was, they're kind of a rat. They're kind of a rat.
I can't say her name, but she's one of my favorite students.
Hey, they just didn't want their club to get banned.
She's one of my favorite students. I love her.
She could be one of your favorite students and also be a rat. Those things are not mutually exclusive.
So anyway, so Inuyasha.
I don't know if I should keep going, but I mean,
you've read the manga what, twice you said, or
more than that, and a couple times throughout life. Oh yeah,
okay.
Y'all don't know what you're getting into with me.
I will say that if you've only seen the anime, the manga is really cool.
And it's a lot more. I mean, there's still some whiplash going on, I think, towards the end, but like not as bad as like the final act or anything. But no, the series is weirdly special to me. That was like the first time that I ventured like into a fandom on the internet, and I was, middle school, high school. I didn't write fan fiction. Calm down. I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, me either.
Me either. I did. I would never do that. No.
Are you a furry or?
Oh God, no. I'm not. First of all, I was a Sango fan and a Roku fan. So the two humans, right? So I had no need. I had no need for any.
Yeah, so you're anti-demon swarm here.
That's kind of fucked up.
No, I just didn't have any need to look up like the furry shit because my characters were not furry adjacent in any way.
Do you ever ask Jeff to open up his wind tunnel?
Oh,
okay.
God. We're talking about middle schoolers here, John.
No, Jeff. This is current. Yeah.
It's weird because I was really, really into it and then grew out of it, found out the final act was a thing like in college. I was like, oh, let me watch this. Got back into it, looked into if the fandom was still a thing, and it wasn't really. So I was like, no, whatever. And then I picked up on it, weirdly enough, when I like moved to California. And I was like, let's just check it out, see if it's thriving. I shit you not. Getting back into that fandom as an adult, the two maids of honor at my wedding I met through Tumblr. Getting back into the fandom. I swear, I shit you not.
Shit,
that's wild.
And honestly, I credit Inuyasha to how I even met Jeff, because my very first internet friend, when I was in middle school, we bonded over Inuyasha. And when I visited her all those years later, when I was a freshman in college, I went to her hometown, and that's where I met Jeff. And I never would have met him if I didn't.
Meeting your internet friends is weird as shit. I will agree with that. It is really weird. And she was, that one was a swing and a miss. But my current squad that I've met through this fandom, I'm no longer into it anymore because it's it died again. Whatever. Well, it's about to resurge though. So
this podcast will revive it. You'll get at least
they're
7 views
series, right?
on this podcast. They are, and I don't think my faves are going to be in it, so I don't know how invested I'll be, but I'll check it out.
So the first time you spent the night with Jeff, did he say, "I'll put up a barrier"? Was he? Is that?
He had never seen it when I got with him, and I made him watch it with me long distance while I was in college and getting back into it. Yeah, the things he did for love, I made him watch it. Yeah, I was like, "Come on, let's watch this together." His faves are Kikyo and Naraku. Those are his faves.
Those are fair.
No, Kikyo, very good.
Yeah, as a pairing too. He really likes the pairing.
Well, let's talk about.
Okay, well.
What do you mean? What? That's okay, but
is that a classic ship? Is that a classic ship in the fandom?
It's well, you know how everything nowadays is so what's the word, unproblematic.
Yeah.
And if you are problematic, you get called out. So I'd say that was that's a problematic ship, right? Like if you like it,
because
people are going to drag you.
Obsession with Kikyo is kind of how everything starts.
It's not good.
Let me introduce my character here.
All right, we're here to talk about characters
whose relationship is in no way problematic. Is the teenage girl Kagome, who travels back in time to feudal Japan, but it's like a feudal Japan that is racked with war and covered with demons, and I guess they're called yokai. And she I don't think she gets the hots for this half demon Inuyasha right away. I think that they don't really like each other, But because of the events of the first episode, which again, we were talking about the anime and like how it's crafted before, I think the first episode is as good a first episode as you can have. I mean, it really does a good job of introducing the story, a little bit of the background, and then what is going to propel them through, which is the like sacred jewel and stuff like that.
I like how they don't try and explain the time travel stuff too much, because that's how you ruin a series.
No, and I think who was I talking to about that? That like, I think we were talking about Naruto, how like they get bogged down in trying to explain the chakra and stuff. And in Inuyasha, it's just like, no, man, it's demons, spirits, ghosts. Like it's just how it is. You know, there's a spirit world.
It's a very general system of magic in Inuyasha, and I think by not explaining it, it makes it better. Typically,
it does for sure.
But also keep in mind that the show ran much, much shorter than a lot of the
which is
bigger,
good.
Yeah, well, in your opinion, sure.
You don't need to run a story or characters into the ground. If you run them for too long, then eventually you're gonna be bad. But Kagome's the character. I'll get into more why later. But I think she's got a great arc. I think she's a great protagonist, and she's rewatching the show. When I first watched it, I didn't love her. Rewatching it and rereading it, she's stood out to me as like my favorite character for sure, and I think she's the best.
What do you think caused that? You think it's you being a parent?
No,
right, because she's a teenager.
Yeah,
I think that when I was younger, I was looking for different stuff in anime. I was when I was watching Inuyasha, I was like, wow, I can't wait to see Inuyasha use a wind scar, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like,
come on, man, he wind scars every episode. There's nothing suspenseful about that.
He doesn't get the Tetsaiga until like 20, 30 episodes
in.
So
you were waiting for an Iron Reaver Soul Stealer?
Yes, I was
thank you.
Can't wait to see some Iron Reaver Soul Stealers.
Some Blades of Blood.
Blades of Blood, bro.
He got the Tetsaiga like episode like 6 or 7.
Oh, really?
What?
Maybe it's manga issues is what I'm thinking of. 20 issues into the manga.
He might not be able to. Is he able to wind scar immediately? Is that?
That's true too. He can't wind scar
that
immediately.
one is the one that comes later,
Yeah.
but he gets it. He gets it during the first Sesshomaru episodes. That's how Sesshomaru gets his arm cut off.
Yeah, and I love. I think as a kid, Sesshomaru was my favorite.
Oh yeah, spoilers.
No, we have spoilers.
90s anime spoilers.
It says at the very beginning of our podcast.
It's a 2000s anime, so it's a little more recent.
He grows it back anyway. It's fine.
Oh, that's a spoiler. I didn't know that. No, I'm just kidding.
Tell me they didn't make just like a wooden arm crafted from the cells of the first demon or something like that?
I think as an adult, I've just seen enough anime that like rewatching it, I kind of assumed that Kagome was going to take the typical role of like a female character in anime, which I've lamented before in the past, and she doesn't. I think she's a very strong character. I think that another cool thing about this anime, I mean, it is written by a woman. I don't know if that has an effect, but I also love Fullmetal Alchemist.
Absolutely, yeah. Without
100%.
I think that's why we have strong female characters.
I know, but I'm saying I love Fullmetal Alchemist too.
There's a sequel to Fullmetal Alchemist?
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Let me watch that.
But my point is that I think the
women
characters
write better.
I do think
women write better women.
Anime,
that goes without saying, right?
For sure. Yeah. But I think that also the characters in this series, like, I don't know, their gender does matter, but it also doesn't. Like, there's the female characters like Sango, for instance. I'll let you talk about Sango, and then we'll get into it later. So that's my character, Kagome. We'll talk more about.
Is someone talking about Sango?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, that was the segue. Yeah.
So my character is Sango. She's a badass. She's everything I'm not, which is just what makes me love her even
sell
more.
Yourself short.
Oh yeah.
Don't sell yourself short.
Oh, I mean, I can't. First of all, I would not go through what she went through to save my brother. Like, absolutely 100% not. God. Would not be doing that. No, never tossed a boomerang. I can't bench press as much as she can probably. Well, I mean, not like with
you
both
love Sango and you've never
arms.
like gone out and like RP'd it or anything?
No. I didn't get into that.
Raikots.
No, she's so strong, and yet she's also got all these vulnerabilities. She's not just like this OP, like badass, stoic, like stone faced, cool girl that doesn't ever like cry or mess up. She's got a lot of trauma to her. She's been through a lot. I mean, the first episode, when she walks in, I'm just saying episode, but you can substitute that with manga chapter, whatever.
Issue, yeah.
Her introduction is like to me, it's the best introduction of all the
I love it.
main hero characters. Because
agree.
she walks up, she kills this demon. It sets the stage for later that night. It's going to be like Kaku's, first night out into doing a mission, and she loses everything in one night.
Yeah. After
she
coming in so strong.
Coming in from being like one of the strongest warriors in her village, and she's a teenage girl, and she loses it all.
Oh, she is teenage.
Or at least she thinks. Damn. Yeah, she's only 1 year older than Kagome, but because of where they grew up and all that she's been
Japan,
through, she feels older. She feels like the
for sure.
Like the adult in the group.
Yeah,
along
that's
with
what
Moroku.
we thought. We thought that that both her, and Moroku were in their 20s or something like that.
Yeah,
but I suppose
no, she's a teen mom. Good for her. And
good for her. Is that something we're encouraging?
It's back in feudal times. Yeah,
in feudal Japan.
Yeah, man, she gave birth to twins with no epidural. Like fucking. I need you to recognize
but
how
again,
badass that
Moroku,
is. But
he put up a barrier, I think. He helped her out.
But like,
say
she
it one more
crawls
time,
out of
John.
her.
Say it one more time.
I'll put up a barrier.
Thank you. Okay.
Also, that's a reference to the PS2 video game, not even the show.
Absolutely.
I think he put up like one barrier in the entire series, and it was like with Kaede. But no, she crawls out of her own grave, and she's half dead, and you think that she's just going to be like, I mean, you don't think it because you see the openings and endings and you see her in it, so she's going to be a main character, but she could have just been like this villain of the week, I guess, trying to take down Inuyasha, but she becomes more than that. She becomes part of the crew, and she's a really reliable, strong part of the crew. She fights her own battles, and she's protecting others just as much as she's being protected, so she holds her own. And there's a lot more to get into with her, I'm sure. But
I'm gonna help you because I got some things to say about her too. But let's let Bran or Matt get in there.
All right, I'll go next. I was pretty torn, to be honest. So I gotta say, honorable mention, Kikyo. I really love Kikyo, and we can discuss her later, but I eventually decided not to choose her. Only because she doesn't make it through the whole series.
Yeah. You can still be a good character, but
I went with Sesshomaru, Inuyasha's older brother.
That's my dog.
Yes, full dog demon. First of all, just way better than Inuyasha in basically every way.
He certainly thinks so. He's got a lot more daddy issues than Inuyasha.
Oh,
that's
for sure. And Inuyasha has daddy issues.
Yeah. No, daddy issues is a huge theme for sure for both of them. But yeah, I think this podcast has shown multiple times now I'm just a fan of the anti-hero.
Yeah.
And
I love him.
Sesshomaru is a constant rival who both pushes Inuyasha to become better and then eventually becomes, an essential ally.
Yeah.
And so I think that whole story of their relationship as, rival siblings to becoming, like, I guess, reluctant teammates is pretty interesting.
Well, and not even full-time teammates. Just, like, in this one fight, we'll work together, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I like Sesshomaru because his arc is not the same as like a lot of these. People say that Inuyasha is a typical shonen, and it is in some ways, but honestly, there's a lot of ways where it breaks from that. Whereas like Inuyasha does not convert all of his like enemies into his friends, and like Sesshomaru is not his friend in the end. Like the last time you see Sesshomaru, he's coming to like deliver a package to Rin, and he doesn't even say hi to Inuyasha. He's like "fuck you" and just keeps going. So I like him.
I'll get into Rin and Jockin more later, but I also think
don't get into Jockin.
Sesshomaru is like he starts as the lone wolf character, but he takes on these strays, and that's what kind of it gives you little glimpses of his softer side because he does actually care about these other people, even though he'll never
admit it,
explicitly show it.
Were those puns intentional? The lone wolf and the strays. They join his pack.
I'm just a genius. It just comes out naturally.
He just speaks and puns appear. It's very simple.
When I make puns, you guys groan, but when you do it, you're a genius. What's going on?
Because those aren't natural.
Let me put it this way, John. Whenever one man and half the words he speaks are puns, it's harder for me to appreciate. But if you speak very few puns and those puns are of quality, then
it's like a proverb.
Yeah, you're not familiar with
This
that
is like
ancient wisdom.
teach a man to fish. Yeah.
I was actually just thinking about fishing the other day, and you know who likes fishing? Old people.
Oh no.
You know who my favorite characters are in Inuyasha? All the old people. Which is
The White Lotus of Inuyasha.
Yeah, basically.
But which old person is
But
the
which
best?
old person is the best? All the old people are, I think, cool. And it does suck that I feel like none of the old people get a very central role. And I think maybe it's this way in a lot of fiction.
They're important.
They're important, but they play like advisory roles. They're not like...
In anime in general,
Yeah.
I feel like older characters are cooler, but they're always in
Absolutely.
the background.
It's
But
not
that's
like
what
how...
old people do in real life. It's like
Well,
they
no,
help
no.
you know guide you. Like my
Think about
grandpa
it.
who just spams me with fucking racist memes. He's helping me.
Okay.
Gandalf leads the Fellowship, right? Until he has
Oh,
to
you're right.
1v1
You're right.
a Balrog.
Yeah.
So he takes a very active role as
Okay.
It's a pretty essential
That's what I'm
role.
saying. So
Obi-Wan,
they're
yeah.
in like Western fiction versus Eastern fiction, right? In a lot of anime, we see older characters take on advisory roles, or they are like
I gotcha.
blacksmiths or craftsmen, things like that, because they have knowledge of the generations before. That's their primary role, and I like that
Yeah.
about the characters too. And I don't think that I do think that maybe the best characters from either a literary perspective or a character development perspective have to be main characters, because there's just
Oh, I
more
don't either.
content about them, right? But I think that out of the three old characters, my favorite is probably Totosai.
Literally chose him just the second. But yeah, go ahead. Totosai. He's
Well,
awesome.
no, literally it was. Yeah, I had to think between the three of them because I think they're all really cool and they all serve very similar purposes to, I think, a
Name
lot
the
of different characters.
triumvirate.
Yeah, it's the Father, the Son, and the
No.
the Holy Woman.
The Holy Blacksmith.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Why I say Holy Woman because Kaede takes the role of Elder Priestess or High Priestess.
Totosai the blacksmith, Kaede,
And Miyoga.
and
The flea.
Miyoga the flea.
The flea.
Well, like I said, Miyoga does a thing, and like I said, I think he's similar to Jiminy Cricket in a lot of ways.
I think him and Totosai are very similar in a lot of ways because
They are.
they
They're
both
homies,
have
too.
advisory roles and they both also like just dip when it gets
whenever,
dangerous.
whenever anything happens, just out of there, never to be seen.
Yeah.
But Miyoga is more about the knowledge, whereas Totosai provides the tools.
The feelings, too.
Totosai seems to know everything that Inuyasha and Sesshomaru's dad was trying to do
Yes,
with the
yes.
swords, and he's just like slowly letting it out in a way that doesn't
he's
like
the
spoil the big
executor of
surprise.
his will.
Yes,
Exactly.
literally. And he crafts both the swords of note in this series, and he also dispenses physical wisdom when he bashes people with the
He
blacksmith
can
hammer.
defend
The
himself,
bendy,
though.
Oh, yeah.
the bendy
The Bendy
hammer
hammer is
is
amazing.
So dope.
He also has, I
Yeah.
think, I love Kilala, but
No, there's no
The flying
but.
bull.
second
It's just
best
period.
mount after the cow.
Oh,
The cow is.
I don't think so.
The cow literally
I
has
think-
3 giant white orbs as its eyes.
Yeah, but does the cow have a smaller, cute baby cow form? No.
That's true.
But it's got 3 eyes. That means it could see 3 times as much as
What
a
about
regular cow who only
what
has
about
2 eyes.
Inte?
That just sounds like an extra point of weakness.
Inte is a mountain in Inuyasha.
Kilala has like that many tails, so
That is true. I was wondering if she
Yeah.
only had
True.
2 or 3, but I guess it is 3. They got to think about 3 old people, 3
But yeah,
eyes. 3
Totosai can defend himself. Demons come after him and they're like, "Make me a sword." And he's like, "Nah, fuck you."
Oh,
And
of
he just
course.
he can defend himself.
Also, his forge is literally a volcano. So I mean,
Yes.
that's badass as fuck.
He can breathe fire,
He
right?
absolutely can breathe fire.
He also, when he slams the ground, it like generates like lava or like flames. Like it's crazy.
he's a pretty cool old dude.
But I think he's an interesting character because, like I said, he's a very important link between Inuyasha, Sesshomaru, and the generation that came before, and all the lore
Yeah.
and sort of the responsibilities and the legacies and all that stuff. So I think he's cool. And I just like the character design. The character design
He's
is
the
amazing.
primary source of like the backstory.
Oh, absolutely. That dude spits knowledge, dude.
Yeah, as far as Miyoga being like Jiminy Cricket, I think, Miyoga's way cooler than Jiminy Cricket because Jiminy Cricket doesn't have much of a personality beyond, I'm just going to try to help you and I know what's right, and I have trouble keeping up with you. Miyoga's got the whole, like you said, he runs away whenever there's a fight, which is hilarious.
So you prefer cowardice to, like, all-knowing voice on your shoulder that always speaks good.
I also love the fact that when he does get into a scene, it doesn't usually start with him giving advice. It usually starts with them like feeling a bite and slapping it, and then he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
hey, what's
Oh,
up?"
yeah, absolutely.
So it's like his advice is secondary. He's really there for blood. Like,
He's got a
He's there
shtick
for
sure.
blood.
Yeah, absolutely.
he's there for blood.
Well, he has to live somehow, okay? That's just...
Yeah.
You can't be grudging that.
But yeah, Totosai is connected with another thing that I think makes this series not as typical of a shonen as people try to make it seem, which is like there is power creep to an extent in Inuyasha, but not really. Like, yes, his sword changes and he has to go and get it rebuilt by Totosai and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
but
especially in that last like half of the manga. Oh my god, I can't even remember all the extra versions he gets.
There's like
they
6
gain
or
so
7.
many abilities.
Backlash wave.
He gets a dragon
still
scale
early on.
one.
There's the dragon scale.
Oh, I don't even know about any of that shit. But yeah,
What Inuyasha does that's more interesting than other ones like Dragon Ball Z or any of them is that the power creep is there, but it's not a problem for 2 reasons. One, it's almost always like in connection with some kind of emotional conflict or like emotional growth for the character Inuyasha, and Totosai like brings him there a lot of the times. Like, he helps him realize like how to wield Tetsaiga. Whenever it's heavier, he has to go and like slay the demon that killed his father.
Oh yeah,
and it's really about moving on and like slaying your father's demons, like facing the
it's a little on the nose,
but it's good though. I mean, I'm saying it's better than just like going into a hyperbolic fucking time chamber and like what I'm saying, like it's
just getting strong to get strong.
Don't
to
sell
beat
Dragon
the
Ball
next
Z short.
bad guy.
Frieza
I'm just
Saga,
saying.
he powers up to Super Saiyan after seeing the death of his best friend.
True,
the pain of loss.
But that
Inuyasha, it's like both him and Sesshomaru's swords get like their upgrades based on what his father wanted for them, which was to find something worth protecting,
absolutely.
And it's growth
and something worth loving.
Inuyasha only cares about himself, and when he starts to learn to care for others and that kind of thing, and the sword responds to that, and it actually demands that. Like, you can't get better unless you do those things. And he knew that
both
Inuyasha
of the
would
swords were like designed to protect humans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also.
Well, and Sesshomaru, he knew that Sesshomaru was the way that he was, and so to give him the sword that doesn't kill, except for later he finds ways to unlock, whatever that thing was called. What is it called? Where it can like open up the gate of like open up hell.
The Medo
Zangetsu. Medo Zangetsu, huh?
Space sword. What's interesting too is while they had their powerful weapon upgrades based on wanting to protect someone, Sango has to go through like a journey to repair her hiraikots, and she goes into like that vat of sake poison. I forget which one it was.
It's like toxic.
What's the difference, honestly?
Yeah, whatever. She goes in there and she's basically like confronted with all the demons that make up her weapon, and they're saying like, we'll rebuild, but you can't just like throw us away again to protect somebody. Like, you have to. And she says, well, I can't promise that. Like, I will probably have to do that again. And they have a problem with it.
That's a really good episode. And here's my honorable mention: Moroku. Moroku would have been my second choice.
He would have been my second choice.
Because you were talking about Sango. Okay, you were talking about Sango's intro. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what it is. But Moroku, the way that he gets brought into the story and the way that he is, he's been one of the like a really influential side character for me that like literally I want that character to be in something that I write. Like I love the idea of a monk who's, you think like, oh, it's supposed to be good, but who's like swindling people. And as obviously as I've gotten older, the idea of like a religious leader swindling people makes more sense to me. But when I was a kid,
and also grabbing ass for like,
well, yes, that was not good, but I would say that men were still as problematic even 500 years after that period. So
it did sort of run in his family.
Yeah. But
you're saying that he couldn't help himself. He's just a product of his upbringing.
In that episode,
well, I mean, I'm a mental health background, so I could say that you could argue that. Okay. Also, he thought he was going to die relatively soon, so he's probably just
trying to get his nut. Yeah.
Grab ass, get money. Yeah, exactly.
So, but the whole time that she's in that vat of, it's a mixture. They got this guy who's like got these huge, like all these barrels of sake, and he just like makes this mixture for her. But he is getting a mixture from that guy to drink that will make him no longer feel the pain of the wind tunnel.
Sucking in bees.
Yeah, so anything. He won't feel the pain anymore. Basically, he's taking like a painkiller, and it's not going to stop it from killing him, but it's going to keep him from feeling it so that he can continue to protect the people he loves. And so the whole time that Sango is like trying to convince these demons that she will still need to protect Moroku is like doing this so he can still protect her. It's a really beautiful episode, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, he definitely would have been my second pick.
And then I think Sesshomaru would have been my third because he was my favorite when I was a kid.
So, I mentioned that I was like in the fandom when I was younger, and Sesshomaru was just like, first of all, Kagome was the self-insert, and Sesshomaru was who everybody wanted to fuck. So it was like,
God damn it.
He just got soured really early on for me because he was just this like any portrayal of him was like this sex god, and it was so awkward. I'm not even kidding. I mean,
I love to hear
you
it.
could
Please
definitely
continue.
fact check it.
You gotta look at it in a vacuum. You can't be influenced by the
you
fans.
can't be influenced by the fans. So I and even now, there are definitely some things I enjoy about his character. Unfortunately, every Sesshomaru episode is also a Jockin episode.
Wait, what's wrong with
and that makes it... Oh, well, I mean, he's a simp, and I'm just not...
Yeah.
I love Jockin.
I don't want to watch him simp for Sesshomaru for like half an hour. You love Jockin? You love him.
Yes.
Wow.
I think,
I do like Jockin as well.
I think that dude is hilarious. He literally was the leader of like his own goblin tribe.
I know.
And was like, you know what? I'm just gonna give that shit up to follow this dude because
he's literally like Gaston's hype man. What was his name?
LeFou?
Yeah, he's like the LeFou of Sesshomaru's life. I don't know.
Sure.
It's just Sesshomaru was like, I'm just gonna have this little simp hype man follow me around.
Sesshomaru likes that kind of shit.
And he treats him like but he also treats him like shit.
Yeah, but
so
it's
like
good for both of them.
likes
That's
him,
what I'm
but
saying. They both like that.
I know. I'm not saying Jockin doesn't like it, which just makes it even worse. I don't want to.
Let me do my Jockin impression real quick because I have to do an impression
Please
every
don't.
episode.
Oh no.
Lord Sesshomaru. Oh, don't leave me behind.
Also,
Holy
Staff
shit.
of Two Heads.
Was that good? Was that good?
That was perfect.
Well,
actually,
I didn't watch in English, so I can't.
No
I can't
criticisms.
say.
That was my first attempt right
I
there.
don't believe that.
I
don't
swear
believe
to
that.
He
God,
practiced
it's
it
the
in the
first time I
shower
tried it.
before this.
Nope.
Yeah, y'all were talking about role playing earlier.
We absolutely were. Absolutely, that goes with that.
That's how good I am in
that's
impressions.
Who you need to question
have you
about
listened to this
role-playing.
podcast? I'm so good at impressions.
Don't let this man mislead you. He is very mediocre at impressions. But this one was, huh?
Raccoons.
Okay.
While I'm still kind of dogging on Sesshomaru.
Yeah, let's talk about honestly. Continue.
Dogging? What? You guys.
You see, this is every episode.
Yeah, he's also a racist. Not even low key about it. Like super.
Who, Jockin or
racist.
Sesh?
No, not Jockin. Sesshomaru.
Well, he's a specious.
I mean, Jockin
right?
is too. Well, sure, but I think. I mean,
You think that there's an analog there?
I think there's like only Japanese people in this, whether they're humans or demons.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I can get behind that.
we're just gonna say he's racist.
If you're gonna defend Moroku because of mental health,
Whoa, I'm not defending Moroku. I'm defending Sango.
then I'll say the same for Sesshomaru. He only hates humans because he feels betrayed by his father, who left his family for a human.
Yep.
I don't know if that's the only reason
That's
why.
part of it. I mean, that's
because
a big part of it.
It's part of it. It's part of it.
Like
for
I
sure.
said,
but
everything is about the daddy issues in this
It's
show.
a legacy. It's a
And
legacy
I think
thing.
that's his primary motivation.
I tend to, like, with the exception of like Zuko from Avatar, I don't tend to love the daddy issues stuff too
Yeah.
much. So that's, just a cocktail of reasons why Sesshomaru never like grabbed me, and also just
And the fandom ruined it for you.
yeah, the fandom did kind of ruin.
But
it for
his
me.
arc.
Tell me you never wanted to fuck Sesshomaru. Let's just get that out
Never
there.
wanted. Just
No, because she's
on the
also a
record,
specious and she only likes the humans.
Oh no.
I just didn't, I just feel like he didn't really have an interest in anybody. Maybe Kagura, but I never really saw him as a romantic option for anybody in the show. So I wouldn't.
you're right.
Since Sango is my favorite, her being so emotive and everything, there was just not enough of that for Sesshomaru for me. So that's another reason why he just never grabbed me.
He's cold. He's cold. Yeah.
He's cold. He's stoic, and that works for him because.
But if you had lived for 500 years, like that dude's like 500 years old or something.
Well, we don't actually know if he's that old because I think that's probably from like the movies, right? And we can't take that to be canon.
say
We know
no,
he's
he
at
is?
least like
Damn.
we know he's at least like 69 because
Oh, 69.
because he was alive before Inuyasha was pinned to the tree.
Yeah.
And he
I would've
was,
figured
like,
doggy
He
style.
looked the same.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
Jesus.
Can we keep this cast like PG-13?
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, you have little kids who listen to this podcast.
Yeah,
But
you have to meet the rating of the material we're discussing.
Oh, that's true.
Why 7?
Why 7?
He looked like the same way he does now before Inuyasha was pinned.
The thing about this is another thing I like about the show that I was saying, it resists the traditional power creep. You know, you could argue that there's power creep, but it's definitely not traditional because the characters don't get insanely more and more powerful. Whereas like in other series, it's like, you know, they can blow up. You know, they can hit each other. Then all of a sudden they have energy blast. Then the energy blast can destroy a whole city. Then it can destroy a whole world. Like, that doesn't happen in Inuyasha. It's like, Inuyasha, he does get different forms of Tetsaiga, but they all serve a different function. Like, you know, this one penetrates armor, and this one is more for, like, spiritual needs. The cool thing is that, like, everybody has different various powers. You know, like, there's certain things that only Kagome's arrows can solve, you know? And
Yeah, she got some major power upgrades. And
Naraku actually has power creep more than any other character because he is constantly like he constantly is adapting to what they have, which I think is actually kind of cool.
He's always like evolving, basically.
It's kind of cool though.
I love the like beginning baboon suit.
That's what I was saying.
His best
that shit is so creepy.
Once you take the mask off, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, then he's just okay, anime villain.
I didn't like his Power Ranger villain outfit he got.
Who was it that we were talking about? Like Darth Sidious, except like where Darth Sidious would like willingly put himself in situations to help manipulate it, you know, like sit there as a captive in front of Count Dooku and Anakin fighting. Naraku is almost always the furthest from the conflict as he can be. There was literally an arc where I was watching where he had an incarnation of himself. It was this one priestess who hated Kikyo. And so she was coming after Kagome and she like bit her with this like Tsubaki, yeah. So he was working with Tsubaki, but he wasn't really. Because when they finally find Tsubaki in him and they kill him, it's not really him. It's like a clone of him. And but they were looking through the mirror of that incarnation. Or no. They were looking through like an orb watching from a distance. So he's already like one step removed. But then it turns out that that's a clone and that the real Naraku is watching through a mirror somewhere else. So like this dude is literally like 3 steps removed from every conflict. He's a freaking...
No, he definitely just creates tons of lackeys.
Oh, for sure. That dude's got so many lackeys.
Incarnations. I can read all of the incarnations. I think I pulled it up just a secon ago.
I have no interest in that.
But there are too many.
Yeah.
So we've got Kana. That's the
okay, you're
gonna
go anyway. I feel you.
Well, there's so many. There's like 12. But then the one that's the most important, I think, or the two that are most important, probably Kagura and Kana. Kagura is really cool because she rebels against him.
Kagura's dope.
Yeah, we were talking about Kagura earlier.
She's also cool because she has this like traditional Japanese look. Like with a fan.
Shomaru had a little something. You
think so?
Yeah.
Slightly.
Oh,
I mean,
she
definitely left an impact on him.
But she has like the powdered makeup, like the kimono, the fan. Like she looks almost like a
Her character design is real nice.
Yeah, can we talk about the character design?
It's so good.
Absolutely. Well, Kagome's isn't really, but everybody else
Kagome is very generic.
Yeah, because she's just classic schoolgirl.
You can't do anything about that. Yeah.
But that's who she is. Yeah.
But now my girl Kikyo
had a real good character.
No, the costuming is cool.
Oh, it looks amazing.
Can you even call it costuming? I guess not, right? Because they're not making
the artistry.
Costumes.
The art.
Their outfits are cool. Yeah, they got cool outfits. That's what I'm trying to say.
Dude, Sango?
Sango has 2 outfits.
Yeah,
there you go. That's variation.
I love
the
ninja outfit. That's my shit.
Oh, it's so cool. And the fucking mask.
The black and the pink. Oh,
no, the black and the
mask.
No, full Demon Hunter mode is sick.
And then her little arm blade that comes out sometimes. Shit.
Also, just the giant boomerang. What an absurd weapon.
Just the giant boomerang.
I love it.
It's incredible.
I think that's...
It's like it's the Buster Blade of Inuyasha.
I don't care. I love it.
It's just Tetsaiga, dude.
That's true.
That's the one thing I hate about Tetsaiga. It's just, it feels like...
Tetsaiga is like the He-Man blade, where it like grows.
Big sword.
By the power of...
Because, it transforms.
By the power of Grayskull?
By the power of Grayskull, yeah.
There's the hilarious scene later on after she gets her Hiraiku's like upgrade, and she throws it at Naraku, and he's like, "You idiot!
Yeah.
You can't kill me with this!" And it like actually slices him, and he can't regenerate, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
That's what I was gonna say
and it was
too.
So satisfying.
The reason that the power creep thing is there is because like Naraku, while he does have a lot of different powers, he's not really that powerful. Like he has to hide and run and. he's really like
he's just good at staying alive.
He's really but he's also one of the more intelligent villains in like anime, because I feel like other villains just literally are so arrogant and like they think they're so powerful they don't run. And this dude never sticks around, and because of that he manipulates people. I mean, this dude engineers Inuyasha and Kikyo taking each other out. Like, this guy's smart.
He's basically like he's like
I still don't like him because he's lame, but he's smart. He's Sidious of this series.
He's just biding his time until he can get the full jewel.
Yeah.
I said this earlier, and I'm not sure. I think it was like at a bad time, but he's literally Frollo from Notre Dame Hunchback.
Yeah, no, very close. I see it.
Yeah.
Talk about simps. That dude goes on a quest of world domination because he likes
for
this
a girl,
priestess.
dude.
Yeah, no, it's fucked.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I would do that for Kikyo too.
I blame it on Kikyo.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's victim blame.
You're saying she was dressed a little too sexily in that priestess outfit.
I think by trying to heal his burned body, she was leading him on.
Why'd she save his life?
If you're hearing this, then Matt, Bran, and I have already recorded a number of episodes for season 2, and it's been a weird one. Coronavirus has guaranteed that we stay apart and record at home, which might have actually improved the audio quality. But we're still doing just as much work researching and figuring out the best shows to do. And anything that you guys can do to support us is appreciated. You can follow us at YFCS Pod on any of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And you can also become a Patreon subscriber at patreon.com/YFCS Pod. We already have a couple of subscribers who've ordered a couple of episodes. The 2 bonus episodes, Dead to Me and Carol Baskin, our thanks to them. But we've also got a subscriber at $10 a month who has ordered a Stranger Things episode. So come join us on our Patreon, where you can help influence the future of the show and where you can help to decide what topics we cover. It's not just shows and movies, it's also books and video games, whatever you want. Shoot, Carol Baskin's a real person. Anyway, that's patreon.com/YFCS Pod. All right, we'll get back to the show now. Thank you for listening.
Going off of, like, speaking of the power upgrade stuff and everything, I feel like a lot of Kagome's power was actually there very early on. And for me, it just didn't really feel too earned. That's just kind of where I'm at with her character.
Well, that's just an aspect of her, right?
Well, let me say one thing about Kagome, because that's what I was actually going to talk about this with her and Kikyo. So one thing that I love about the series is Kagome is a girl from the 90s in Japan, and so she's got very different sensibilities than the characters from this feudal era. And I really love how who's the person who wrote this? What's her name?
Rumiko
Takahashi. I love the way that she's sort of, I mean, you know, it does feel like a lot of times like she's making a statement about like what it means, like, you know, how far we've come, like women's rights and like feminism and stuff like that seems to get into the series a little bit. Kagome is very much like a confident, strong-willed person, and her powers, the powers are always there. But the thing is that I think that's actually a cool message, which is like the power is inside of you, but people don't believe in themselves, and I mean for real, and they don't have this is true though. People don't. They lack the confidence, and they lack the courage to face things. And when you have that confidence and courage, you can bring things out of yourself that you didn't even know were there, that other people might not have expected were there, you know?
I mean, that's a good way to say she's a bit of a Mary Sue.
No, her biggest flaw is that she's a human in this dangerous ass world of demons and shit. Like,
but she's never
that's not a flaw.
I also don't feel like she's ever under threat of dying.
Well,
right. It never feels too dire for her.
Well, what I was going to say is there's a lot of moments where, I mean, but she doesn't know that. She's a 15-year-old girl from modern day Japan.
Right.
But she's got the squad, bro. The squad's so overpowered.
Man.
Inuyasha's like just got his ass kicked by Sesshomaru on the first episode with Sesshomaru in it. And she goes over and draws a Tetsaiga to save Inuyasha. I love that. Like that character does not exist in other anime. Like that's really cool. And then Sesshomaru comes and says, "Give me the sword," and she goes, "No, it's Inuyasha's." Like she's got this sense of like fairness and justice.
She's definitely strong-willed.
She's got this sense of fairness and justice that comes with being a modern day woman in Japan. That like, no, this is his sword. Why would I give it to you? And like Inuyasha's like, "Give him the sword. He's going to kill you." And so she's kind of also, I mean, she's the opposite of Naraku, which is like Naraku knows when to fold him. She does not. She does some really stupid things because she's overconfident. But I mean, I do
kind of agree with Angela a little bit about not earning her powers, because she inherits the spiritual powers from Kikyo.
Yes.
Without actually being a priestess herself.
For sure.
It's like
none of the sacrifice, but all of the game.
Yeah, no piety, but all of the powers.
But in the finale, she does sacrifice everything to go and live in feudal Japan and train to be a priestess for real.
That's true.
I feel like if you sacrifice after everything's done and over, is it like, I mean, what are you giving her?
What, her life is not done and over? What?
She can choose to go home.
No, I don't think so. I think she's done. I think
but she wants to stay there.
Yeah, no, she has a choice, and she decides to, instead of staying in the modern era where she might, where she's going to be safer and probably more comfortable with like modern, advances, she goes back and lives there where it's probably going to be more challenging, but where she loves the people and thinks that she's needed.
Yeah, she's there because she knows it's the right thing to do, because she fucking broke the jewel. But, she's like the whole reason Sango's entire family died. But
she inherited her powers, but also she never perfects them or masters them. I mean, they come in spurts. She doesn't have full control over them. And there's plenty of times.
There's an arc later on in the manga where I would argue she does kind of master it. And that is like a good arc for her to have. It's a bit fuzzy for me, but it has to do with like the priestess Hitomiko, I think.
Yeah.
And she goes through some trials.
You're right about
and there's
it. I remember
like
that.
a specter Kikyo, and there's an arc she goes through where I do feel like she masters things.
Well, and there's a really cool situation going on with like her and Inuyasha and Kikyo, and then even like Koga coming in later, which I don't really love Koga's character.
No.
When I rewatched it and I watched him, like the first episode he gets introduced, that dude kills an entire village of people.
He kills Rin.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is kind of fucked up. Like, I don't like this character. I don't want to root for this character.
Yeah. What a weird, like, second emotional, like, relationship option for Kagome, as if she would go for...
I don't think she really ever seriously does. You know what I mean? I think he just wants her.
That's why it was just weird that he was like...
He was just there to make Inuyasha upset.
It's like, dude, you kill human beings. I think you got to walk away from this one now.
But through Inuyasha's jealousy, his jealousy comes up with Koga. That's how you learn that Inuyasha has feelings for Kagome.
Her actual like flaw was her jealousy towards Kikyo, which I think is totally normal considering she's a 15-year-old girl. Like, I get that.
I don't even know if it was jealousy, though. I think it was a feeling of inadequacy. Like, she felt like, I can't measure up to Kikyo.
I think it was a little bit of both, and she had some moments where it came out at really inappropriate times. Like, if Inuyasha and Kikyo were just there talking business, like there was an episode. Yeah, I'm serious. There was an episode
just talking shop. Just doing what
they do.
Demon slaying,
just strategizing. I mean, there was an episode where it was in the Mount Hakare
So miasma, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh god.
It was in the Mount Hakare arc, and everybody's there because. They rescued her from one of the band of 7 dudes, not important. And she was like, just, doing her thing under the tree, getting some souls, and everybody's there. Inuyasha, the whole group. And he's talking to her about, what are you going to do? What's your plan here? And Kagome's just standing there like, oh my God.
But she keeps her thoughts to herself, though. She doesn't say anything.
She kind of does, but she blows up on him later. But it's also kind of his fault because he's like, what's wrong with you? You're mad. Are you mad? Why are you so mad? You seem mad. And she's like, God, shut the fuck up. And she like sits him 500 times. Yeah. So it comes out at weird moments, and like he'll go off like just to go make sure that she's okay or something. And because she's like, dead, dying, whatever. and Kagome still is like, trying not to be bitter about it, but she is. And again, that's pretty normal teenage girl stuff, but it's just sometimes it just felt so like, girl, can you please see the bigger picture here? Like,
I think also kind of fucked that she has the power to make him sit like a dog.
Yeah.
Well,
she doesn't exactly.
That's an abusive relationship, right?
It is for sure.
She's not very judicious about the application of that technique.
And that is stolen. I mean, here's another thing we need to say about this series is that the exploration of like feudal Japan and also like Japanese like folklore and stuff is so freaking cool and really well done, I think, in the series. but also it has a very like Journey to the West feel to it. And Kagome is like the priest character, and Inuyasha is like the Son Goku character who like literally the priest puts beads on Son Goku's head and controls him like that. So, I mean, that is like she's mirroring a very popular Eastern traditional folklore.
In general, Rumiko had a lot of tropes in her series.
I love it,
not
though.
just Inuyasha, but her other ones that now seem pretty like. You could argue or like stupid or overdone.
I think
like
they're well done.
groping,
I think they're well
right?
done. Yeah. Or the groping is weird. Yeah, but
the groping is weird, but it was also again just something that happened in series back then.
and it was
like,
the time. It was the time. Feudal Japan.
Yeah, there was usually a pervert character. Yeah,
but he also gets his like he gets smacked, or hurt. You know? The characters are very abusive, man.
Yeah, they definitely. There's a lot of inter-party just fighting.
Inuyasha's a child abuser.
Shippo gets beat.
Shippo.
Oh yeah, so much.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Miyoga literally gets slapped every intro. Every time he comes into this.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's his own fault for
that man is
feeding on
sucking.
friends.
Yeah. It's not.
We got to talk about what Sesshomaru and.
I feel like we really went in on Sesshomaru, and by we I mean Angie.
Okay, Sesshomaru got roasted.
Angie went in on this man.
I didn't really get to make my
All right,
point.
Brain, you give a positive and I'll give a positive. Sesshomaru, go.
Okay, so I'm taking it way back to we're talking about the swords and the daddy issues.
Oh God.
But I think giving him the healing sword is a very interesting sort of choice for his arc.
It's awesome.
I was thinking about, our last anime episode, which is
Naruto.
And obviously Matt and I are roasting Sasuke a lot. But I compare these two characters because they're kind of like the rivals, the anti-heroes, whatever.
Yes.
But like in that, Sasuke gets like these insanely strong powers for him, the Sharingan from his family. In this, Sesshomaru doesn't get the powerful stuff from his dad. His dad gives him this healing sword.
Well, the sword is very powerful. Let's not sell it short. The thing is...
It's powerful, but not for his goals.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so, like, if he had Tetsaiga, he would be all powerful, like Sasuke with Sharingan, but that's not as interesting as him having to cope with, one, realizing the benefits of being able to save humans, and two, discovering your own powers and not being reliant on your father.
Exactly.
And so I think by the end, he does outgrow the daddy issues because he realizes my dad gave all of this stuff to Inuyasha because he needed extra help as a half demon.
Yeah.
But as a full demon, I can just come up with my own power. And he does end up creating his own sword and his own power that's not related to his dad at all.
What is it called?
Bakusaiga?
I don't remember if there's a name for the ability.
It fucks. Yeah, it just like has it's a chain lightning
But that
attack.
move is insane. It's unlimited lightning until your opponent is destroyed.
Yeah,
basically,
it's just kill that guy.
Yeah. So I do think he outgrows the daddy issues by the very end, and that's why I think
he matures.
It's a nice completed arc, even though it takes a long time to get there for sure.
Well, and it's pretty cool too. I mean, the dad gets a lot of credit. I wonder if I'm already forgetting the author's name again, but I wonder if she had like a really Rumiko. I wonder if she had like a strong father figure in her life, because it does feel to me like almost like a parent wrote it, where it's like the dad gives you these two things and you don't appreciate them at first, but then as you get older and mature, you see why he did it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the dad seems proven right in this series, even by the character who's like pissed off at him for giving him the wrong, sword,
I actually kind of felt for Sesshomaru a lot, because it felt like Inuyasha definitely was the favorite and he just kept getting shit on.
Exactly. He feels betrayed the whole time, and that's why he's so bitter.
And he was the one that like wanted to preserve his honor and his grave,
he had to fight.
Everything.
He like fought while Inuyasha was pinned to a tree. He was fighting alongside his the dog clan or whatever.
So
that's why he also resents humans. He's like, you fell in love with the human just like dad, and then you got trapped for 50 years while I was out fighting.
And there are parents who play favorites, but then there's also this case, which is a parent who can see like which kids need more of what, and I think that dad seems to be the latter, which is he's not giving Inuyasha more attention because he's a favorite. He's giving out Inuyasha this stuff because Inuyasha needs it.
Because he knows he'll struggle more. Yeah.
That's a lot of foresight, man.
It is.
It really is.
I mean, he's a demon who lived for
you could say Rumiko was
making
making it up as she went.
Possibly.
but it doesn't feel.
No, just careful planning.
It feels good. Yeah, it feels like carefully
it
planned.
Works out nicely, I think.
It does.
I'm satisfied.
I'm very satisfied.
Yeah, he gets his arm. He gets a cool sword.
I think it doesn't feel like she
works
made.
out good for
I think
him.
yes, she was making it up as it goes along. Obviously, that's how you're doing it, but I don't think it feels like that. I think it feels constructed and.
You're telling me when you're releasing something in a serialized chapter by chapter way that you don't have. I don't have an issue with that. I think that maybe even the best stories can be created that way. But
I was also I was telling Angela this yesterday. We were talking briefly about how like this series is also good. I was thinking about it has this perspective of being mixed, like not belonging to either group and being sort of in this limbo. Because that's where Inuyasha is. You know, he humans don't like him. Demons, spit on him, and
he's a half elf.
I feel like he's a relatable mixed character, which I don't think you see that much in Japanese in anime because it's such a homogenous culture.
Yeah.
But I think
actually.
Yeah, but I really like the because you really do get a lot of issues that I feel like a mixed kid watching this, and we'd have to ask one of our friends who's mixed. I don't know if we know any.
What about literally Brandon Lee Nash?
I'm joking. I'm literally right here.
But anyway,
I simply do not know any person like that either.
I don't know. Do we know any mixed kids? I don't.
No, Bran, did it resonate with you on that level when you were watching it when you were younger? Like,
the show as a whole, yes, has resonated with me since I first watched it in like middle school. But like I said, I don't like Inuyasha that much, and he's kind of
shit. We need to talk about the titular character.
Why? I don't really want to talk about that guy. If I'm gonna be honest with you.
Like with most things, I don't care about the main character that much.
I think he's a good character.
I think the supporting cast is so much better.
I agree.
I don't really like Inuyasha because I feel he's just very boring.
He's
whiny.
a pretty typical shonen hero. He's loud and angry and swears a lot.
I disagree.
And calls the girl he loves stupid and a dumbass. And I mean, he
does do all those things.
Hold on.
Treats girls like shit. Can't control himself.
He's not like Goku. He's not like Naruto. He's not like Monkey D. Luffy. Goku
doesn't call Chi-Chi stupid.
That's what I'm saying. He's not like them. He's very different.
Well, he's like
he's more like Vegeta than Goku.
Yeah.
He's a little bit like Edward Elric a little bit to me, and I actually like Edward. So
I love Edward.
I don't know.
I can't wait to hear the FMA episode.
But he's more angsty than that, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'll say. Inuyasha, he grew up without his parents, right? I mean, his dad died.
Yeah.
His dad died before what? I can't remember the exact scenario.
His dad died after.
I don't think
he didn't. He never knew him, but in the non-canon movie, he was already born.
I really like that movie.
Which
that movie's good.
One?
That's the third one.
It was the third one.
That's a good one, man.
Don't you own that one?
But then that is weird because they're like, oh yeah, there's also a third sword.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where the whole Inuyasha's 200 years old thing came from.
Oh, so Inuyasha never really had his parents. The only family member he has is his brother, who treats him like shit and doesn't accept him. And And then he doesn't trust anybody. I mean, this is a dude who sleeps sitting up with his hand on his sword. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like, this dude is not a trusting guy. He's lived for 200 years. He's old, and you can tell he's been through some shit. Like, he's not have friends. And he doesn't have friends because he's had no one to raise him to be mannered because, he's an asshole. Like, he literally, like, I told you, I love the current Inuyasha translation on Kiss Manga right now, where he's, like, literally just calling, like, people bitch and, like, asshole. Like, he's a very... it's
including Kagome.
Yeah, he's calling Kagome bitch, and I'm like, Jesus Christ,
so
dude.
hot.
But I
oh, God.
The reason I love it is the same reason I love Sesshomaru's arc, is because Sesshomaru doesn't have, like, an unrealistic arc where, like, he hates Inuyasha and then he loves him. He doesn't. He kind of just tolerates him later on.
Yeah,
and he
does.
And he understands.
I mean, he lets his girlfriend call him brother-in-law.
Yeah, well, Kagome calls.
He's not happy about it.
He doesn't like it. No, he doesn't like it. He brushes her off.
He doesn't. But it's also like, comical. Like, he's not actually going to kill her.
You get to see Inuyasha go from this character who doesn't trust anybody, rightly so, because his girlfriend just pinned him to a tree. That's the last thing he remembers, And so he's been hurt by every close relationship he's ever had. And so he's an asshole to everybody. Mm-hmm. But then you do get to watch him slowly and I think realistically build these bonds. And, you guys were always roasting like the Harry Potter type of character where it's like their main attribute is that they can make friends. And it's, that's Goku.
That's awesome.
No,
Yeah,
Goku is by far the most powerful being in the Dragon Ball Z series.
Inuyasha is the opposite. He literally does not want these people to be on the quest with him. He wants them to get out of his way.
Yeah.
And they are like...
Kagome's the whole reason he gets friends.
Yeah, Kagome. They are there for Kagome. And then they slowly start to show Inuyasha the value of having people in your life and trusting
friendship?
people. No, I didn't. Not friendship.
Friendship is the real treasure they find along the way.
It's not just friendship, because he's got to trust Kagome. He's got to trust mentors like Totosai. He's got to learn to trust everybody. So
he's got to become friends with everybody.
He's got trust issues. He doesn't just have daddy issues. He has trust issues.
Yeah, he does.
But he grows.
But he also relatively early on in the series, he's like ready to protect Kagome, which is also kind of just like, that's the whole reason why Tessaiga transforms for him for the first time, and that was again
is it
like
because
episode
she's
6 or 7.
The Ankh version of Kikyo? Does that have anything to do with it? It must, right?
It's because he tells her like, "I'll protect you." He's like yelling at her.
Well,
and
he
saying,
says,
"Shut up, I'll protect you." And then it like pulses, and he's like,
Yes, but he does say.
But it was genuine. I mean, what he felt was genuine.
No, for sure.
But again, very early on.
I would argue, though, that he was not. He did not like her in a romantic way then. And I think that he was also protecting her for a little more of a self-serving reason, because he even says to her, and I don't think he's hiding it. I think he says, like, I need you because you can see the jewels. Like, the only reason you're with me is because you can see the jewels. And I think later...
But I don't think that was genuine.
I think later he's masking his feelings, but I think at the very beginning, that's to an extent true. I don't think he really cares about, like, this 15-year-old girl is more of a nuisance to him at the beginning, I think.
I don't know. It's hard to say, because she does remind him so much of Kikyo, and that could, be what makes or breaks if he likes her or not, because he loved Kikyo, but also she wrecked him. So
I love discussing whether or not Inuyasha liked Kikyo or Kagome.
Well, let me invite...
I think it's an instinct to protect.
We're part of the fandom now.
Because of his mom, also, though. Like, that's the point of the sword, is to protect humans like his mom. Mm-hmm. And so I think he kind of feels that connection as well.
The first episode with Sesshomaru, where he like tricks him by making him think that it's his mom, and he's like literally laying in his mom's lap, but it's not his mom. It's like a demon that can like change. It's so fucked, dude, because it really reveals a lot about Inuyasha's past, dude. Like, that's what I'm saying. I really think Inuyasha is actually a good character.
Oh no, he's traumatized for sure.
But I think he's a good character. I think he's got a lot going on.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean I have to like him, dude.
For sure,
the reasoning is legitimate, but I still don't like his behavior, even though it's just...
He's just not my favorite traumatized character.
Do you want to say anything more about Totosai, Matt? Because we have kind of...
Yeah, Matt, let us get some about Totosai.
Yeah, the thing is, this rich history of Totosai. Give us the lore.
Oh, just straight up lore drop? Well, Totosai, which comes from the kanji... no, I have no fucking idea. The only things that I remember about Totosai... And like I said, I've told Brandon and John this. I did not actually watch Final Act.
What?
You've never seen Final Act?
Well, think of the difference in time that came between Inuyasha, right, and then Final Act. And at that point, I had moved on to other anime and stuff like that, so I was just kind of over it. The reason that I think I particularly have an affinity for characters like Totosai, or just side characters, is that they're the part of the story that enriches the world that the main characters occupy.
Yeah.
So with characters like Totosai especially, we're talking about a character with like particular skill sets and also connections to the history of the characters. Without this character, you don't get any of the understanding of like the motivations of their father or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or like, you don't even get the swords or like any of the critical other plot points.
Yeah, he's a good exposition dump.
Yeah, literally, whenever you need to know something about something and they go to Totosai about it, he'll just tell you.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to have helpful characters like that are willing to just say stuff, because it's just for pure enrichment of the world that they live in.
Well, and
it's part of creating like a living device. Otherwise, it's just kind of bland.
I do appreciate when characters can kind of, inject more life and lore into the story. So I can appreciate Totosai for that. My problem is that's just kind of like his function.
Yeah, of course.
He literally is, like you guys said, the executor of...
But he's also just a goofy old man as well. I mean, it's not like he doesn't have personality or character. He's just also a goofy old man that fights with a bendy hammer who lives in a volcano.
Bendy hammer.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
She also did a good job with the, like... She another thing that a lot of anime do, and a lot of stories do, is like the 7 deadly sins as characters. But I like the way that she did it better. I think she did it in a way that like you can almost like not even notice that they are the 7 deadly sins, because she doesn't call them like greed and gluttony and all that stuff. But it's the 7 assassins. What are they called? The 7.
The band of 7.
Each of them represents a different one of the 7 deadly sins, and it's pretty subtle though, and I think it's better. It's done better.
I actually like the Band of 7 arc a
that
lot.
arc,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that arc was actually my favorite arc.
Yeah,
it had a lot
cool.
of stakes. It was like Kikyo's first like death after she comes back, so it showed like Naraku got rid of whatever was holding him back, and that just like that struck her hubris right in the heart because she thought that she had the upper hand, and he
doesn't Naraku like set
like,
the stage for the final fight between is it like Bankotsu and Inuyasha, where like he puts him in a place where Inuyasha's weaker or something?
He like throughout all 7 of the Band of 7 dying minus Bankotsu, I think he like is getting their shards. And
so
he's able
manipulative,
to get the power of their shards so that he can go toe-to-toe with Inuyasha. And it is a really cool fight. Really cool animation,
and so
too.
Matt's never seen Final Act. He doesn't even realize the real villain of the whole series is the jewel shard. Is the jewel. The Shikon jewel.
Yeah.
That's true. That ending is very good.
No, it's good, dude.
Well,
That's
and through Sango is where we first learned about like Midoriko, and it was like her versus the Magatsuhi, which is what they call like the soul of the jewel, right? And then the next reincarnation of that fight,
Well, how
right?
does that
is
even
Kikyo
make
no
sense,
Onigumo.
though?
Well, no, the jewel is kind of like almost like the One Ring.
Wasn't the jewel inside Kagome?
It's like the point is that it's all corrupting no matter what you wish
Yeah.
for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can.
So it's like the monkey's
Yeah.
paw.
Yes, it
basically.
wants you to wish.
Naraku was being used by the jewel as well. It wasn't. He's not
and
even the
Kagome
villain.
beats it by wishing. What does she wish?
She doesn't.
No,
wish for the genie
or
to
then
be
she,
free?
She wishes for the jewel to be destroyed
same-
or something.
Yeah,
Shit,
for the jewel to not exist, basically.
Yeah.
But it seduces you. It makes you want to make a wish, and it tells Inuyasha that he can't save her, or no, it tells one of the other that they can't save the other one unless they make a wish, and which is I mean that's very hard.
But
it's very hard, but they overcome it. It's pretty cool.
So you collect all the Dragon Balls, you combine them together, and then you realize that you have to wish it away. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, basically. But Dragon Ball Z, there are no
Well, it won't
consequences.
give you what you wish
Yeah.
for. That was kind of like a
absolutely.
predictable way for that jewel to be handled,
when
in
I
my
was
opinion, because
15.
we knew based on what Kikyo like.
Really? You haven't seen Aladdin,
You
bro?
didn't see it going that way. First of all, you weren't 15 when the series ended.
Oh,
you were
yeah,
in
you're right.
college. So
Oh, that's true.
Let's be clear.
Shit.
Second of all,
But I still liked it.
It did seem very predictable, all because if you go all the way back to when Kikyo wanted to wish on the jewel for Inuyasha to be human, like you knew in your heart of hearts that wasn't going to happen. And it was like, that's why it was so crazy for Kikyo to believe
I
that would
thought
happen.
that in the end, Inuyasha was going to have to decide to be full demon or full human. I thought that was how that was going to be the end. I
No
did.
way. What a terrible message for the
I didn't know
youth.
that it was going to be
Youths,
that
yeah,
well
as a
done.
whole.
I didn't know.
Exactly, which is why I'm glad it didn't go that path.
And that's when Kagome turned to Sesshomaru and said, "But Sesshomaru, I'm married to your brother." Oh, hey, guys. Sorry, I was just working on a little writing there. It's going to be juicy. But no matter, I have to interrupt my writing, and I'm sorry I have to interrupt the show because we have an advertisement paid for by some really hardcore anime fans. In fact, they paid extra if I promised not to listen to the advertisement before I played it, and I will do anything for money. For instance, I just finished watching The Guyver because somebody subscribed to our Patreon. Anyway, without further ado.
Your podcast has just been interrupted by Anonymous. We are here to call for a full boycott of Your Favorite Character Sucks. This is the second anime podcast in a row where they've canceled one of our favorite characters. And we're sick of it. We get it. It's called Your Favorite Character Sucks. But after their Naruto episode, we can't even openly talk about Jiraiya anymore. Does wanting to see a young Naruto naked really trump all of the good things that he did? And now we can't even like Moroku anymore. Our favorite character in Inuyasha banned just because he can't resist grabbing onto a butt here and there. Well, we say no more. If we stop listening, then they'll stop airing episodes. If you like characters like Master Roshi from Dragon Ball Z or Kon from Bleach, then you need to act now to bring an end to this podcast. The longer we wait, the greater the risk we run. What about you, One Piece fans? We see you out there. We know you like Sanji, but we also know what Sanji likes. If we don't stop these 3 quarantined nerds, then they're gonna make it impossible for every single fan to enjoy their favorite pervy characters without feeling shame. Now some of you might say, wait a minute, you're anonymous. Can't you just hack and dox John, Matt, and Bran? I suppose we could, but then what would they do for an Inuyasha commercial? Did you think of that? Boycott YFCS Pod today. Preserve our anime pervs for tomorrow.
You need to talk about why you think the author's problematic, or why. What am I missing? What do I not know?
Oh, I mean, again, it's sort of probably. Well, okay, so I looked into it a little bit more, and there was a movement to ban art, like nude art of underage characters in manga, and she was opposed to that. But looking back on it, it's probably because she drew 15-year-old Kagome naked all the time.
Yeah.
So I would assume that's why she'd be against a ban like that, because then she would
millions of dollars.
You're saying capitalism's to blame here, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, it's more like she already did it, so she's not going to be against it. Otherwise, that would probably be kind of hypocritical, but it just doesn't look good.
Well, you could change. You could go back and say, well, I did this back then, and I thought it was acceptable, but
Well, yeah, that would be great if she did that, but she didn't.
She has a new series where she has to draw some more naked underage kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the new beef is we don't know. So we know that there's 2 of Sashomaru's daughters in this, and we know that they're half demons.
What?
So that means Sashomaru
Wait,
did it with the
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Confirmed.
That doesn't make any sense.
Sashomaru had 2.
Oh, well, you don't know. There might be some backstory that would reveal everything.
With Rin?
Well, what everybody's freaking out about,
Sashomaru's
that's what I'm
learned to
saying.
accept
Everybody's
humans.
freaking out.
Don't ever say that, dude. That was like a daughter.
Yeah, everybody's
Do
freaking
not-
out. Everybody's freaking out that she might be the mom.
Please,
I don't know.
Is it a Woody Allen
Yeah, if
grooming
it's
situation?
true, then fuck.
It's not.
Please.
Well,
dude,
that's what
no.
I mean, if you guys think people don't ship that,
Oh my
let me tell you.
God.
Oh, I know they do.
They sure
Who's
do.
is out there doing
They
this?
Sure, a lot of people.
I don't like that. That's like
People will
I would
ship
rather
anything.
see Jock and Sashomaru's kids. Like, what the fuck, dude?
That is
Absolutely.
Sashomaru.
Well, I
you
just
know,
see that
with
in
the
general.
two-
It's
That's a consenting adult
yeah,
relationship.
they're both demons, so
And think about what he can do with
the
that
only
two-headed
thing
staff.
more popular, the only Sashomaru ship that's more popular than Sashomaru and Rin is probably Sashomaru and Kagome. Actually, that's the most popular
the
ship.
What about
Fuck.
Kagura?
That's more popular. No, that's not as popular as Sashomaru
The
and Rin.
Kagura
or
relationship
Sashomaru
was
and
actually
Kagome.
good because it was so subtle.
Why do people try
It
to see
was. Because Sashomaru fans, like I said, they
want to
shit.
see
weren't
hate
into
sex.
yeah, well, they
God.
wanted Kagome was the self-insert, and Sashomaru was the one they wanted to bank. So they're gonna ship Sashomaru with Kagome.
What was I gonna say though? If you haven't read the manga though, I really do suggest it because not for the nudity. There is more nudity in the manga, but also the demons are way creepier and cooler looking. She draws
It's a lot
them.
more
It's
gruesome
so
and
gruesome
horrifying.
and legitimately terrifying. Like legitimately, I was reading it and oh my god, I was horrified by parts of it.
Scary?
It's
a little
very
bit scary.
it's very gratuitous. It's very like even that fat peach guy he's just he's so
Yeah.
much more gluttonous looking in the manga than on the show. He's just horrifying looking.
I definitely
Yeah.
feel like it starts off with the creepy monstrous
Yes.
demons, and then as they get more powerful, then it's more just kind of like humanoid enemies
Yeah.
later.
Just like in World of Warcraft, if you're fighting a normal-sized human boss, they're far more terrifying. Examples: the Lich King.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
but what I was going to say about Sashomaru is we talked about how he gets crapped on by not getting anything from his father. He perceives it that way anyway. But then the part that I forgot about that I was like, God dang, dude. Even with Tenseiga, it turns out he was just holding that power, the Medo Zengetsu. He was holding it for Inuyasha. In the end, you find that out. And it's
Yeah.
damn, dude.
Yeah.
He even gets that taken away. But, I mean, that's all part of the, you have to...
That's when he reaches his lowest.
Yeah, you have
after
to
that.
lose who you think you are to become who you're supposed to be, kind of thing. It's
Some of you have to empty the cup before you can
yes,
fill it.
yes. We mention this all the time.
Yeah.
It's a good,
We always mention that.
but it's a good. It's the
Yeah.
hero's journey type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he had some parallels with Inuyasha's journey, just based on how Rin changed him versus how Kagome changed Inuyasha, and so it was
Right.
interesting to see how they both dealt with that.
But it's true.
And again, I think both of them really took to their, their
relationships in
person very
we
quickly.
We do change as people based on the relationships we make, so it's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think Sango did a lot of that growth too,
and Moroku.
Because she was ready when she first joined. Yeah, when she first joined the group, like there's an arc not long after where Naraku's like, "Bring me the Tessaiga, and you get your brother back." And she took it, and it seemed like she was ready to just like betray the group just to get her brother back, but she didn't. But later on, towards the end, and I don't know if Matt knows this because he didn't watch the final act,
don't.
so I don't know if he read that. But she has to make a choice between like, if she can kill Rin, it'll save Moroku. And she's going to. She's gonna do it. Like, she's ready to do it. But she's also this character that's like willing to accept the consequences of her actions too. Because I think she meets up with Sesshomaru later, and she's like, "I did this, so if you want to kill me, I get it."
What's really cool, and I mentioned this before, and then I stopped myself because I was like, we need to get through the opening statements. But I really think that while the characters are not stereotypes of their genders, in my opinion, I also feel like other series that try to do that, where they're like, I'm going to make a girl who's, not like a typical girl. And a lot of times what they do
what would be a typical girl, I guess.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. I mean, but what they're doing is they're just trying to make like the opposite. They're like, it's almost like they erase being a female at all, and they're just like, this is what a girl would be like if she were a boy type of character. Like, and a lot of times like female warriors in
are we talking about Ranma, or are we talking about Inuyasha?
No, we're talking about
I get what he's saying. It's like the badass female
loses their
character.
femininity. They lose their femininity a lot of times, and I think Sango, I think she's very much grounded in her femininity, even though she's still a badass warrior. I don't think she loses her femininity.
Yeah.
She's not the stereotypical female character, and yet she could not be. I think you couldn't replace her with a man and it'd be the same.
Right. 100%. There's even a part like the arc where Kana comes out and they're protecting Koharu, I think is the girl that in that arc, and then they're saying like, Sango, protect Kagome, blah blah, and she's like, why am I being treated like I'm like just one of the guys? And Shippo's like, I think you're a pretty girl too, or something like that. So she definitely wants to be treated.
I think
like,
male authors do it poorly. Yeah. Like, it's a lot of times where they'll be like, they'll have like a person who's got female assassin guards or something, and it's like, but they strip them of all of their femininity, and they're just like, they're basically just a male character that you describe as having, boobs and stuff. It's like, well, it's not really good.
Right.
And I think Sango's better than that. I think she's done really well, actually.
Yeah. Does the bodysuit help? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because it's pink, right? So it's like...
So yeah, I can tell that she's still a girl.
She's got her pink eyeshadow.
If it was blue, then I would think she was a boy, but
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what that means.
Haraikos.
No, she yeah, she's very much, I mean, she's very multifaceted. She's ready to buckle down and get serious and, go toe to toe with the best of them, but she's also like blushing furiously at any kind of like romantic gesture from Moroku, and she's getting jealous, and she's having all of these.
I mean, she just has the characteristics of a person, just is a fully fleshed out person.
No,
she's
it's true.
I like Sango quite a bit.
The badass battle babe is, like John said, usually the badass battle girl is
stripped
kind of just
personality a little bit.
Right. Yeah, she's just a killing machine.
But I think she also has a complex relationship with Kohaku, where it's like she loves him and wants him back, but then I guess Kohaku really is the one who has a complex relationship with himself, is that he murdered his entire village, so he has to live with that. We didn't talk about Kohaku.
It's so great too, because she goes from early on, like there's moments where she's just had it and she's like, there's no way I can save him, I'm gonna kill him, and then I'm gonna kill myself.
She's gonna kill herself.
She was gonna do it, and none of them knew that.
She's such a great character,
because Inuyasha stopped her from stabbing Kohaku, and then nobody ever found out that she was gonna stab herself afterwards. But she goes from doing that, and then through her relationship with Moroku, he encourages her every time they find Kohaku, and every time they realize that he's still possessed, he's still killing people, and she's just ready to give up hope. He keeps reminding her, like, you can't give up. He's still in there. We have to keep going. She's the only one besides Moroku that has like a current thing happening directly related to Naraku's destruction.
I guess that's
like
true, yeah.
Inuyasha's shit was all in the past. Kagome's just there because she broke the jewel and she's like, well, I got to do this. It's the right thing to do. Sesshomaru is just pissed off because Naraku used him that one time, and he's like, nobody uses me. I'm Sesshomaru, and it's
I think Kagome's
and
fallen in love
Kikyo is getting revenge
with the past.
too, right? And it's really Sango and Moroku that have something like time sensitive to get out of this because he's gonna die from his wind tunnel, and her brother's gonna die if she doesn't do something about this. So
Kagome has a sense of adventure, and so she I'm saying no, but this like modern world where she has to like take tests and stuff like that, and like go to school and like
I don't know how the hell she
for
passed, man. Talk about a Mary Sue. She didn't have to study. I'm just kidding. She
Smarter,
She did have to study.
stronger,
She did study
better.
every episode. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying she's not satisfied with modern Japan. She's bored with it, you know.
I don't know if that's why she's there. I think she's definitely there out of a sense of obligation. Like, I broke the jewel, I have to make this right. And then they meet all these people along the way, and she realizes, like, wow, this Naraku person is horrible. We have to put a stop to it.
Yeah,
But,
she's got
like,
a sense of justice.
It sucks because if Kagome didn't do what she did, Shippo would have a father still. Sango would have a family still. Like, all these things happened because the jewel broke. I know that she obviously didn't do it on purpose, but
the jewel,
it wasn't done purposely. But it's just interesting to see like the consequences of her actions.
It's hard to ascribe
But we see with the
responsibility to her 'cause
final-
she's still a kid, and there's no way she could have known
it
either,
wasn't.
right?
Yeah, she didn't know doing all that would result
But it
in what
did.
it did, but it did. She didn't mean to hurt somebody by stepping on their foot, but it still hurt.
The final arc proves though that jewel would have continued to reap victims every so often.
Yeah, Shippo's dad would have died anyway. I agree.
No,
Shippo,
I'm
am I
saying
right,
that
fellas? Yeah.
she helped end this eternal struggle for this like Shikon jewel,
definitely.
once and for all. So that was a good thing.
She was pivotal for that. But for what I was getting at with Sango was in this battle of figuring out, like, what am I going to do with Kohaku? Eventually, he becomes free of Naraku's grasp, and he's just like, I can't live with myself and what I did. And she's the one that ends up telling him, you have
She's
to
trying to save
overcome
him.
it. Yeah, she's now giving him strength.
You know, the jewel is also, it is kind of, you could argue that it's like a mechanism for the story that's not that cool, but I like it because of how it is used, that like it needs to be corrupted, and because it gives Naraku as a villain a reason to do evil things. Like,
So you're saying they need some sort of
wish-
MacGuffin, is what you're saying.
yeah, I'm saying the MacGuffin in this case though I think is better than most
Okay,
MacGuffins.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
As well, I would say
Yeah.
maybe with the qualifier in most shonen style anime, because there's
Well,
For
I think Kagome calls him out at the end because she says, like,
Yes, she does.
you wished on the jewel and you didn't get your wish. And he like feels really called out, and then some stuff happens. And then as he's like dying, he's like, that's right. All I wanted was Kikyo's heart. And so that just like lets us know.
Stupid
like,
bitch.
He made that wish.
his feelings hurt, and
What's
now
Sim?
homie, oh god.
All right,
cooked
well,
hard.
let's talk about some categories here. Let's talk about aesthetics. There's so many great aesthetics in this series. But we have 4 we need to compare most closely. So it's Sango, Sesshomaru. Kagome is she's not going to win aesthetics.
She's
I know
out.
that.
Some people really, I would say,
and Totosai.
many people
Some people
really
love
love the
schoolgirls.
schoolgirl look.
Yes,
well,
but
Not us.
let's.
Maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
that's-
obviously I
yeah.
lean the other way, where I prefer the look of an old ass man with a
Old
bare
man.
chest and a.
So I'm looking at Sesshomaru here, and let's see, and Sango.
I can't support
Totosai's
Sesshomaru
got a cool
because
look,
I'm
too.
pretty sure that he's wearing
He
fur.
looks so cool.
I'm pretty sure this man is wearing fur, and I'm not.
That's
No,
not
that's
vegan.
like
That's
Oh,
not
no, that's
vegan.
So I'm canceling that.
That's
man.
a magical thing.
Yeah, cancel.
That's
I
part
agree.
of him, dude.
Is it?
He's a dog.
It's not.
It's
Let me
his
see
fur.
what it is.
Is it? If you can give me a source on that, I will.
His actual form is that of a dog. This is
Correct.
just his
It's called
transformation.
Moko Moko.
So is that?
It's called Moko
So what
Moko.
is that thing then that he wears on his shoulder? Is that just part of him? What is that exactly?
Because can't
I'm
he like
looking at it right now.
control
Hold on.
it?
Yeah, he can't. He in the manga, he doesn't use that like laser whip thing. He uses
In
the
the
Moko
manga?
Moko.
Manga?
And the manga.
I love that.
All right, listen. He doesn't use the like laser whip thing. He uses the Moko Moko to like attack with.
Okay.
Let me see. Fuck. Anyway, okay. So let's talk about Sango.
Oh, we
Sesshomaru
love
Like I said,
Totosai.
Sango looks very badass.
First of all, yeah. First of all, the variation of having 2 outfits and 2 hairstyles.
tied up and not tied up, insane,
that
revolutionary.
Was high budget. Yeah, it's insane, and that was high budget for back then. And sometimes she has her little blue knapsack on while she's in her little villager outfit. So that's like 2.5 outfits.
Shikobo.
Honestly, innovative.
The Moko,
right?
It's on Sesshomaru's shoulder, is part of his body and can stretch to great lengths, giving him defensive and offensive abilities.
I mean,
still don't like it, but
I think he looks dope.
Yeah, still not a fan.
I would go with Sango or Sesshomaru in this category. I think they're both look really cool.
I'm choosing Totosai based strictly on the fact
Wait,
that
of course you are.
Based strictly on the fact that his eyeballs, the irises are just dots.
I really like Sango's demon slaying outfit because all the components of it are made of the demons that they have slain.
That's true.
Which is really cool.
Yes, that's
like
true.
the armor
Demon
pieces
bones
and the.
It's all made from like demon bone and shit.
It's not like like necessarily like a latex bodysuit. It's actually constructed of like demon fibers.
It just happens to also look like a latex bodysuit, which is
easier to cosplay. That's a point for Sango.
That's a point for Sango. Let me give a point for Sesshomaru. In the last episode that we did, Naruto, I complained about how the characters become less and less complex in appearance because, like, I feel like the artistry was just getting lazier. It's like, I'm just going to put them all in, like, one uniform to make it easier to draw. Sesshomaru, that's a fucking hard-to-draw character. Like, that is a really intricate outfit. But he's not in it as
often.
That's true. The frequency.
So when it's time to draw his intricate outfit, it's kind of like, he's been gone for 20 chapters. We can do that.
But this is a taste thing. I just don't like it. Maybe it's because I'm not.
It's a lot of white.
Maybe it's too traditional.
Just a whole lot of white happening.
It's just one giant blob of just robes and.
It's got white hair, white robe, very white skin. Really, I mean, it just all kind of blends together. Aside from little pops of color, which are nice, but there's not enough color variation for me.
All right, I'll go with Sango.
Thanks, appreciate it. Appreciate it, my boy. So what else are we talking about? What else is cool about characters?
Well, arcs. They're arcs. I think Sango, Sesshomaru, and Kagome all have arcs.
Yeah.
No, the thing about Kagome is, though, as far as who she is as a person, I feel like that's pretty consistent. Like,
yeah, I think you're right.
She has no need to change because she's already
Sango,
perfect
then.
at the beginning of the series.
That's
Sesshomaru and Sango, then, I think.
Yeah.
I know that there was one episode of Sango's that I really liked where she found these 3 young girls who were like, train us to be demon slayers or whatever.
Yeah.
And it turned out that they were tricking her. They just wanted to like steal her store of like, but they said that the reason they did it is because their village was destroyed too. And their father told them to be strong. And anyway, they wanted to go and fight this demon. And anyway, she saves them and then she tells them. And what's cool about that episode is that these girls are so similar to her that she's basically seeing herself in them. And she comes to the realization that, because her dad said the same thing to her, like, be strong. And she sort of realizes and then teaches them, like, our father would not want us to have to fight their battles over and over. You know, it's another daddy issue type of thing where it's like, she learns that, like, when he said be strong, he means, like, you know, survive, like, thrive. Don't just, you know, fight my battles, you know, and I think that's pretty cool. And she ends up eventually, once the fighting is over, she's able to transition from being a warrior to then being a mother, which some warriors have trouble doing that, like hanging it up and
her
moving
settling
on.
down and having a family is such a cool way for her character arc to end because her entire family was taken away from her.
She finally gets peace.
She gets her brother back. And then from that, what I would assume happens is through having kids and teaming up with Gohaku to maybe like usher in this new generation of Slayers because their entire people
cool.
They
were
got
just
wiped,
decimated. Bro. Yeah, there's none of them left. They're the last, they're the last airbenders. So like rebuilding kind of their culture, I think is a really cool direction for her character to go in.
It did suck to see that the Harai Coats was an ironing board though. In that scene. I didn't, they had to turn it into an ironing board.
Like that. I mean, you got to make adjustments when you're a mom.
Yeah, you have to change. Yeah.
And Kagome wasn't there when she was a new mom, so she didn't get all that cool shit.
Damn.
When she's changing diapers, she had to wear the Demon Slayer mask. And all that shit,
exactly.
Is this all canon, or like are we formulating some fanfic as we speak? What's going on?
This is fanfic.
The important thing is it sounds probable.
Okay. But I still, after saying all that about Sango, I will go back. I think Sesshomaru has a cooler arc. I like what he does. I like how he changes and who he becomes. I think
it's very classical, is what I'm saying, of an anti-hero.
But I think it's realistic though, because it takes time and it feels real.
I just don't care about that anymore. The thing is, it's been repeated so many times, and I know that I'm just tired of it, man.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We don't really see as much of a conclusion as we do with Sango.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're kind of just left with the assumption that he is more accepting of humans and
a
his
little
family
bit. I mean,
now.
he's willing to go into a human village and visit Rin and give her gifts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really sweet. It's like he comes and gives her gifts, and then he's like, "Fuck you" to everybody else, and then leaves. I like that.
You think that's sweet?
Being a better dad than his dad was, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, grooming her for this future manga.
Oh no, I just go back to his arc with Rin being like the platonic version of Inuyasha's arc.
Did they
with
show
Kagome.
what the gift was? Did Rin open it up and
kimonos? He just gave her a bunch of kimonos all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
We can't give it to Sesshomaru now. Not after that.
Okay, so who is it, Sesshomaru or Sango for better arc? Matt, I'm guessing you're going with Sango.
I go with Sango.
Well, first of all, don't presume for me, but yes, I will go with Sango.
Okay. Don't ever fucking pin me down, but yes, that's the case.
You absolutely have me pinned down, but don't ever fucking do it.
Okay, let me say, what's another category? Technique. I mean, there's some cool techniques in this.
Mm-hmm.
I love the wind tunnel, even though it gets foiled by Naraku often.
By often, you mean like...
It's still so cool. And like, what happened? It's weird that if he absorbs bees, it affects him.
why?
But he can absorb like a whole lake,
special...
right? And he doesn't
make sense.
No.
He doesn't like bloat
They're
with water
bioengineered
weight.
bees, bro.
Bioengineered bees. My bad.
Specifically designed to counteract the wind tunnel.
But you know what? Naraku designed the wind tunnel, so he would be able to make a weakness of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. He'd be able to nerf that any way he wanted to. It's just interesting how that power works.
Too strong.
I love the Harai coats. I love the throwing of the Harai coats.
We've heard throughout this podcast.
Give us one more battle cry.
Who shouts the best thing? Is it Wind Scar? Is it Iron Reaver Soul? Is it Harai Coats? Like, what is it? Who shouts the best thing?
Well, Sesshomaru doesn't shout because...
Oh, he doesn't say shit.
He never feels in danger. He can just calmly say the name of his power.
That's true.
I feel like saying the name of your move is pretty whack, just in the general stuff.
Yeah, Kagome doesn't ever
That's
say like bow and arrow, but she does say like... Yeah, Kagome will just be like,
weird.
hit the target!
Like, why can't you just do it?
Yeah, just do it.
Just
why are you giving yourself away like that?
Yeah.
Well, because they...
Like, now he knows you're about to shoot the diamond spears instead of the backlash wave, so he can prepare better.
Because you're so strong, it doesn't matter. You can say it, and they're not going to be able to stop you.
Or is it like a spell? Like, you have to manifest it with its
Tell me
name.
there's a somatic component to this?
Sango, so since she's a demon slayer, she's got all this shit on her person, right?
Foxfire?
It's not just...
Foxfire!
No, I sure don't.
Foxfire.
She's got Hiraiko. She's got a katana. She's got her arm blade. She's got like poison gas bombs, which is why she has her gas mask. Yeah. She's got Kirara, which is like a weapon in itself.
Yes.
That's true.
She's got a lot going for her, so it doesn't really get boring with her, I'd say.
Do they mix it up that much though? I feel like the boomerang gets used quite a bit.
It's 90% boomerang.
Yeah, and then you have Naraku's go-to move, which is
poison
remind
and bees.
Remind Inuyasha about how Kikyo shot him. He does that 20 times over the course of the series.
That's an effective technique, dude. You gotta stick to the good shit.
Yeah, it's psychological warfare.
I'm going here's my Naraku. Here's my Naraku impersonation. Okay, you ready? We're going to show Inuyasha what happened to him 50 years ago when Kikyo shot him with that arrow.
Is that what the dub sounds like?
I like your jock better.
Like.
Thank God I didn't watch dubs.
Yeah, fuck that.
Master Sesshomaru.
There you go. There you go. You found your niche. I want you to stick with that one.
I'm losing my goddamn mind.
I think we're ready.
Do we have enough information to definitively say who is the best character from Inuyasha?
Yeah. So we're gonna count down. You ready? Mm-hmm. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Sesshomaru.
Wait.
Thanks for getting Sesshomaru in there, Bran.
Hold on. What did everybody say?
I said Sango.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a full Sango sweep, so I just stuck with my guns.
See,
Good.
you went with
You
the
know
Matt
what?
Sin strategy of just making sure Matt
But you know
takes
what,
second.
Bran? I almost stuck with my guns too, but I was like, no, you know what? I don't want Kagome. I don't want somebody to win who shouldn't win, and I think Sango's the best.
Well, yeah, we clearly established Kagome.
Kagome is not a
running.
fan favorite.
In every category, it was up between Sesshomaru and Sango.
we strictly do not
I
like
still
that
think
character.
Kagome is. I love Kagome. I think she's great.
Nah.
I think she's a really good protagonist. But anyway,
What I'm saying,
I
John,
liked
is
her a
if
lot.
you love her so much, why didn't you vote for her?
Because I think both when I was
'Cause
younger
Sango's
and
right
older,
there.
a character that I liked on both was Sango, like both times. And Kagome I did not like when I was
Yeah,
younger, but
no,
obviously when I'm
strictly.
older I have a different perspective. But Sango stayed good to me no matter what age and
that simple.
what perspective
I think
have.
that going in, I knew it had to be this way as well. Because out of all the characters in this show, I don't know. I don't really like any of the two brothers. Moroku's okay, but he just seems like sort of a generic...
I do
collection of
like
tropes.
Moroku, but I can't fully support him because he's a sex offender.
He's a sex offender.
But, yeah.
He was made a lot worse in the anime.
like his
I'll say
power,
that much.
and I like his, deep down he
I
is
love
a really
Moroku.
good dude who will always defend the party. But I can't get past the pervert thing. Because it's not just when they first meet him and then he grows out of it. It's like throughout the entire show.
Yeah.
Oh, the entire thing, yeah. And it's funny, the pervert trope sinks characters because like Jiraiya couldn't even get past that shit either. It's like
And we love
just don't
Jiraiya.
make your character a pervert.
Why did you have to
The
include
thing
that?
is, some people like that stuff, so there you go.
I can't believe it. We did it again. We figured out who the best character is in whatever we're talking about, despite the podcast being called Your Favorite Character Sucks. Now the only question is, what should we do next? You can help us decide by following us at YFCS Pod on Instagram and Twitter and telling us which show, movie, series, book you think we should do. Until then, hit that subscribe button and catch us on the next episode. Thanks for listening.